Hello everyone and welcome back to Nomadic Nutrition. My name is Shannon and I'm a registered associate nutritionist. If you follow me here on my channel, you'll know that I chose to do Veganuary for the month of January in 2021. I've never been vegan before, but I wanted to give it a try because I knew it would challenge myself both culinary-wise and diet-wise. So I took a few notes, kept a few recipes, and I'd like to share with you all what I've learned so far. So I'm going to share a few things that I learned in the first 7 days of going vegan. Firstly, I've been really excited to cook and excited about the food that I'm eating, which was why I wanted to do this in the first place. As you can see, I stocked my fridge with a ton of veggies, fruits, and just seeing my fridge full of different produce made me so excited to start trying new recipes. So I really fueled that passion to cook that I used to have that I lost over the years. So that was a plus. The second thing I noticed was the gas and bloating. In increasing your fiber intake is going to result in more gas being formed in your intestines. That's something I kind of expected would happen, but didn't really realize how much it would happen and the extent to which it would happen. I definitely saw some stomach pain as well as very insistent bowel movements. Like when I had to go, I had to go. So that was interesting, and I definitely will be cutting down the fiber next week because I can't say it was very pleasant. Thirdly, I noticed my skin clear up. When I eat dairy, I tend to get some spots on my face. I think this is quite normal, so my skin has cleared up. That's a positive. Next, I noticed that I was getting really hungry. I felt full in my stomach, but I didn't feel fully satiated and I couldn't really tell what it was. There were some times during the week where I really felt cravings for food, desserts, and I'm not really a sweet tooth, so I'm not really sure what it was. I'm thinking it's because, one, I've probably been eating less calories than I'm used to when I'm eating meat. Another thing was I'm not eating as much fat as I'm used to. So again, with the calories, maybe I wasn't as satiated as I normally am. Those insane cravings have stopped, so that's a good thing. And the last thing I noticed, which is strange, is I started to get a little bit of food envy. When I saw someone cooking a steak or eating some Cheez-Its, I kind of got jealous because not only is it convenient to just pick at what's already there, but gosh, steak really does smell good. And the last thing I noticed since turning vegan, which was a little bit of a negative, was that since I was reading the labels so much on my foods to figure out how much salt I was eating, how much protein was in my food, I noticed I was counting up the calories in my head, not necessarily out of concern, but more out of curiosity. And those numbers racking up in my head and just making me think about how many calories I was eating in a day rather than just focusing on how I felt was an issue for me. That was one downside that I noticed about going vegan, was that by tracking my proteins on the labels, I was also tracking my calories. So that's definitely something to keep in mind and something I will keep in mind for next week. So moving on from this, I'm just going to show you some of the few standout recipes that I made during this week. One of the first recipes I made was 된장찌개. It's a Korean like a squash and tofu stew made with soy miso paste. This is how it turned out. It was delicious. It's comfort food for me, so it really didn't feel like I was lacking in any way. That's another thing I should mention is I don't feel lacking at all. I actually feel like I have a ton of energy, and I am cooking a lot more than I used to with my meat diet, so that could contribute to why I feel so much energy, but so far so great. I'm feeling good, feeling vegan. Second thing I made, kind of out there, but I made Vietnamese summer rolls, but it's basically just rice paper. You can see rice paper stuffed with tons of veggies. I chose greens, mango, cucumber, carrots, sliced really thin. I forgot the rice noodles to put in there, but you could put that in there. And some fried crispy tofu that I made. It was so good. And the peanut sauce, super simple, peanut butter, pea milk that I still have from my last video about milks. Mix them together. I think I put some soy sauce and some sesame in that as well. So good. And then sriracha, which I checked is also vegan that I have, lucky. And I had a sriracha dipping sauce as well. And I made enough somehow for like 3 servings. I ate 2 servings in one for dinner, and then the next I ate for lunch the next day. That was great. It's super easy. I definitely recommend. Very little cooking and cleanup to do. I ate a lot of hummus. Well, I've eaten like a tub and a half of hummus. I would make some like meze platter things for lunch. So I would bring hummus, slice up some peppers, pita bread, cucumbers. I would have some fruit on the side, and I would just kind of eat like a meze platter for lunch on some days. What else did I make from scratch? And then I also made this quinoa soup with a base that I make with a lot of soups. If you know sopa de fideo soup or minestrone soup, pasta fagioli, it kind of has the same base. You have the onions, garlic, olive oil, and celery down as the base. You use the olive oil to heat it up, make it soft, add some little salt and pepper. And then once that's done, you add tomato paste and your veggie broth, and then literally whatever you want after that. I chose to do some zucchini and beans and quinoa. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Some mixed greens, cilantro. Yeah. So that's super simple. Literally just use what you have in the house. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of these ingredients already, especially if you cook from scratch and cook from home regularly. Okay, I made this loaded rice, and I thought I was being super cool by adding all this stuff in. There's this Korean dish called kimbap, which is literally just seaweed and rice, and I thought I'm gonna bulk up this rice and it's gonna be so good. Yeah, this rice, as you can tell, had a lot in it. It had walnuts, it had asparagus, it had mushrooms, onions, garlic. A lot of fiber. It did hurt my stomach after. I should have chewed more. I learned that after the next time. I also learned that I should have put a little more oil because it was kind of dry and just didn't like fill me enough. So I did add more oil after that. And I had about 3 servings of that, so that was great for meal prep. Keep it simple. So those are all the things basically that I made from scratch. Really fun. I'm really excited to show you some new recipes coming in the next week. And now I'm going to show you some of the processed, already made foods that I used during this first week of being vegan. Okay, I'm sorry about the light change halfway through. I just figured this is probably easier for you to see me. So now I'm gonna show you some of the pre-made foods that I bought, both good and bad, hits and misses. OG YouTube style. So first thing, which was a hit, is these Kia oatmeal pre-made things, which you'll see I made here. Literally just put hot water, I put some milk in there, macadamia milk, put blueberries in there. What's cool about blueberries and grapes is when they kind of get mushy after some time, you can just stick them in the hot water and they rehydrate and they're beautiful and juicy. So yeah, it's kind of a tiny packet, so unless you're a small eater at breakfast, I say like this is about half of a breakfast and I'll eat something additional to that. So I'll show you what I did. But yeah, these are so amazing. I won't go through all the, all the ingredients just to save time, but let's see. Everything is whole. Yeah, we have oats, groats, pumpkin seeds, inulin, chia seeds, hemp seeds, cinnamon, and that's it. Oh my gosh. I highly recommend it. It's about $5 and some change for a bag of 6. It might be expensive for like 2 people eating this, but for a single person eating these for breakfast, it's a whole week of delicious stuff and made out of some good organic ingredients. That's the first hit. Next is these pita breads that I got that I used for the like meze platters that I was talking about. I didn't end up eating a lot of them, and I'm gonna finish them. It's not a myth. These are fine. They're exactly how you think they're gonna taste, but I guess I just don't eat enough pita, so I'm gonna have to find out some creative ways to use this in the future. Vermont Bread Company multigrain English muffins. These are freaking delicious. They're soft, fluffy, they taste good. They're made out of whole ingredients. I mean, there's a lot of ingredients, but I can pronounce everything in here. It doesn't seem like there's any preservatives or anything like that. Anyways, it's bread, it's processed. So I ate this with, you can see, some hummus, avocado, cilantro on top, squeeze some lime, pepper, put a little turmeric. Oh my gosh, that's really delicious stuff. I highly recommend you trying that. I'll show you the hummus I've been using for that. So this is the company that I've been using for the hummus. This is the dill hummus version, super delicious. Joaquim's Foods. The other hummus I used was the black bean version of this, and that was super delicious as well. Also made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ingredients, but they're pretty basic: chickpeas, tahini, oil, dill, lemon, salt, garlic, and spice. So yeah, that's super great. I recommend it if you can find it. Another thing I put on top of my English muffins was beans. I don't know, ever since living in London, beans and toast is a classic. It's a staple there in their diets. This one is vegan. It has a healthy amount of sodium in there, 40% of your daily recommended value, and 32% of your daily recommended value for sugar. So look, it's a little bit of a comfort food, what have you, but it's pretty delicious, and if you're eating mostly vegetables for the rest of the day, you shouldn't worry about it, and it's hearty. Ooh, for snacks, I finished them. These were my saving grace, is the Brad's Organic Corn Cakes with dark chocolate on top. These are so good. I'm not gonna go into the numbers, but basically they're just these thin corn cakes. They're not made of many ingredients. They're vegan. I mean, need I say more? Another processed food is kim. As I said, I eat kimbap, I eat kim a lot. It's a staple in any Korean's diet. What can I say? Next, Brad's Organic Veggie Broth. I add this to my soups. You can add it to make your rice. I'm gonna make some soup tonight. Yeah, there's literally nothing bad to say about it. It's ready to go and I love it. Okay, next is a miss. I tried these tres Latin foods pupusas because I'm like, how can you go wrong? It's just corn filled with beans and kale. I looked at the back, I'm like, there's tons of fiber, there's a tiny bit of protein. The ingredients look great, but these don't taste how I expect them to taste. I didn't cook them with oil. I just heated them dry on the pan. For $7, I won't be trying them again. And then lastly, one of the mistakes I've made was buying too many greens at once, thinking of course I'm gonna eat all of them, I'm going vegan. I did not finish these in time. They're going mushy, they're going dark. I'm going to have to get rid of them, and I don't like waste. So it's very unfortunate for me to throw these away, but you live and you learn. I'll show you as well the soybean paste I get if you're curious. This is the Nico brand since 1662, mild miso, 30% less sodium. This is so delicious to add to anything. You could even add it to your chili. It's just, I mean, what's in there? Salt. Yeah, okay, so it's salt, it's umami, it's delicious, and it's great in your broths. I think that's it in what I want to mention for today's video. Thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you in my next installment of Veganuary week 2. And until then, happy eating everybody. Bye.